Yo, this is James Lights Out Tony, the one and only. You are tuning into Philly Fight World. You see me? BAM!
What up, everybody? Welcome back to another session of Philly Fight World. And as you know, there's fight news, there's fight analysis. This is Philly Fight World. And we're your host, as always, Blake Anthony and Rasul. We gotta come up with a nickname for you, man. So you just want to go Sully or something like that. We gotta have something, a nice nickname for you, man.
You using my whole government, bro. Friends call me Sully, man. So
Oh, so we just call it
that's
Sully,
cool.
man.
Use that.
Just use
Yeah,
that.
Sully, man.
That's
That's
what we're gonna go with. So for everybody,
Sully, man.
Sully man. That's what we're gonna go with from now on. The Sully man. There we go. Well, this is us, the same guys, same mugs on here. Going to talk about, as you can see, the bottom description, the world of women's boxing. And right now, you know, I always come up with these crazy ass, uh, foregrounds. You see Claressa in the middle. It's Clarissa's world, and they're just living in it. I mean, I have no other arguments against that till somebody can dethrone Her Majesty. She's the queen of boxing right now. And what inspired, me, it's kind of me on this one. I kind of came to Sully to talk about women's boxing a little bit. And I think it was an area, that's really untapped. And other than Jake Paul, nobody really talks about it unless it's like some type of beef or something. I mean, what's your feel on all that, Sully?
Yeah, agree 100%. It's I would say within the last 3-4 years,
Mm.
women's boxing is kind of taking off right now. You have a big pool of women boxers, and so we're starting to see it, of course, and the mainstream uh, sports telecasts is starting to grab it. You'll have women on undercards of fights, and even now, I mean, you got women headlining fights. So with the likes of Shields and you know Amanda, I mean,
Katie.
it's definitely as you used the frame before ascending. And I think Jake Paul, he was smart in what he set out to do, and he's starting trying to grow the sport. And so shots out to him for making it happen, because a lot of women are taking advantage of this newfound fame for them, and just a platform to show it.
No doubt. And look, let me tell you to my women fighters. I mean, before we get into all the fun stuff, let's just talk. Like I said, I want to talk about the history a little bit of it. So let's just talk about the top 20. Like the top female boxers in the 21st century. Of course, it's Claressa Shields with a 14-0 record, 2 KOs, 2016 to 2024 ongoing two-time Olympic gold medalist, the first to do it, first female to go back to back, first I think American since 1980s, I believe it was the last time a gold, and it was a black female from Flint, Michigan. Then number two was Katie Taylor. Number three, Amanda Serrano. Then you got Cecilia Burkis, impressive 37-2 record. And then, of course, the legend of the legend, Layla Ali, who had a 24-0 record, 21 KOs from 1999 to 2007, super middleweight. At her time, women's boxing, I couldn't even imagine. Nobody really cared about women's boxing. I mean, I hate to say it like that. I'm just being honest about it. They did. It was like you heard, Ali's daughter's fighting, but there was like at that time too, social media wasn't as big, as it was and all that. I don't think it got the proper send off and things like that of all. Um, and then you got women like Holly Holm, who was a boxing champion, and both UFC and boxing. Like it's just crazy how women's boxing and women's athletics, they're versatile too, switching from one platform to another and winning belts and things like that. So I think, like you said, Jake Paul tapped into a good market that's been untapped for a very long time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely. And I'm glad you brung up that name, Layla Ali. I completely forgot about her.
yeah.
But
See what I
how
mean?
could I do that? Because
Yeah, see what I mean? It's
yeah, and it's funny. And you going back probably 20 years, and you know, at that time, of course, being the daughter of the greatest, of course, that doesn't hurt you. But she had some memorable fights, and so I remember during that time she had some big fights, and one particular beef, I would say. So since you're going back, you said social media wasn't that prevalent
no
back then, but her and Frazier, Joe Frazier's daughter,
Frazier's daughter
they
box
went
as
back
well.
and forth. Yeah, and they went back and forth, and it was like that bringing back the old, Ali Frazier, and so they kind of played off that. Uh, but I mean, from that point, then there was like a gap, I would say. You really didn't hear about women's boxing that much, but now within the last 5, 6 years, it's taken off. It's taken off, man. So, and like we said, Jake Paul has tapped into that, and he's signing women left and right, and he's making a league for it, almost like the WNBA for boxing. And it's a smart thing to do. And he's on to something.
Yeah, he definitely is. Like I said, I just thought it being Mother's Day today, we should talk about women's boxing and give some kind of love and shout out, because I know Shields constantly always talks about the disrespect and things that she gets. And if you've never seen the movie The Fire Inside, for anybody, you should watch it. You get an idea of how prevalent or non-prevalent women's athletics are treated, especially this was around the time when the women's soccer team, American soccer team, kept winning gold titles and they were getting paid subpar payment versus the men's that hadn't won shit. And the women's kept winning, and they're basically told they should be grateful to be in that situation. Long story short, Claressa was part of that, winning her first gold title, getting no endorsements, nobody knocking on the door. And we're all adults here, and I'll talk about the things that, I mean, nobody wants to endorse a black female from Flint, Michigan to be the face of the brand of your whatever it was. I do believe had she been from somewhere else, that would be a different conversation. But that's just the way it is. And that's just not to say that's just not the whole everybody works in the world. I think that played. I think one part of it was that women's boxing and women's athletics, isn't that popular. But then you add that factor into it, that where she's from and who she is plays into another part of that, as well as why things didn't go so well for Claressa with those accolades. Those are accolades people thrive for in their lifetime, and to not get the recognition and love that she should have gotten. And I know for a fact if that would have been somebody else, it would have been different. So watch that and you'll see you'll get a different perspective of it. And like I said, I hate talking about that race disparaging thing and all that, because everything isn't always that, but there's just some things that you can't ignore. And I will speak on it, whether it's one side or the other, whether if it's a wrongdoing by black people to white or white to black. I just I hate doing it, but I have to speak on it when it's an injustice, and that's a crime. The feats that she's accomplished and the struggle to get what's rightfully hers, and that's why she has. I've said this before, when people get pissed off about when black athletes are cocky and stuff like that, I'm like, that's the reason why they act like that, because they're not given the due that somebody else would get. That's why the what's her name? The girl from Indiana, Caitlin Clark. Girl is a stud, man. I loved watching. I remember she was a freshman. I was like, man, this girl from Indiana is a beast. 3 years later, here she is. When we're talking about her face at WNBA, blah, blah, blah. And the media and all that made, and like I said, I'll speak on both sides. She's a white girl, and I'm going to defend her. I said the media made her a villain. to black women. The media made her a villain to black women. The bright white girl got everything she asked for, and we're gonna come at her, and that's just effed up and it's wrong because all the girl wanted to do was ball. That's literally all she wants to do. I mean, you reap the benefits of the work you put in, but on the flip side, that is why the black women got so mad because there's been people been doing the same thing she's been doing, and they were never given the opportunities that she got. I know that was a long rant, Sully, but go ahead.
Yeah, agree with you 100% with that.
Mhm.
First of all, I'm talking about
Shields.
the basketball player. I'm sorry.
Clark.
The basketball player.
Yeah.
Clark. I don't know why her
Yeah.
name just escapes me all the time.
Hmm.
But like you said, coming out of college, and I think the media, and let's just put it, straightforward. The media creates it sets the table for the conversations, unfortunately. And so you had like you said, the villain, and she might have made made a shot, and all of a sudden, cameras on her, and then they'll replay, a certain gestures that she did, and now you had a villain, and a lot of people fall into it, fall into that character, and if you listen to her talk, there was nothing villain about her. You know what I mean? It sounded like she appreciated the game. It sounded
Yep.
like she appreciated being in a league. And but the media made painted this picture of, okay, we gotta have a villain and we have to have the opposite. And
Gotta
so
the
there's a
hero.
battle. And so yeah, and so that's publicity, and so you get ratings like that, making this narrative of something that's really not even there. So flip it to boxing, of course. I mean, like you said, Claressa Shields, her accolades speak for itself. I mean, undefeated, world titles, and for some reason, the media, the national media, doesn't push her enough.
Nope.
Unfortunately,
It's
unfortunately.
and you can't ignore it. It's facts.
There you go. There you go, man. And so,
And and you're speaking of it, I'm gonna pull up your
it's tough.
sponsors. Mhm.
There you go. Let's see this.
Yeah, let me pull up her sponsors. Who she's sponsored by? Claressa Shields, this is per Google, not me, has partnerships with several brands, including Bose, the music, Everlast, that's in boxing, NXT, LV, and LVL Water. She has also been associated with fight sponsors like SNAC, Win Records, and Hawaiian Festival. Additionally, Shield has expressed interest in securing high-profile deals with major brands like Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour. So, like I said, she has no major brand and stuff that's all in athletics, and that's Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour, and she has zero deals with them. Back to what I said. I hate talking about it, but when it's a fact, it's a fact.
How do you not have her sponsoring your product? How? You have a woman
with them accolades,
major
man.
movie with accolades, a movie made about her. It's a great story. You have someone who came through an environment where a lot of us don't make it.
Nope.
And let's just put it blunt, a lot of us don't make it to the heights where she is now. And so you have this person who's gotten to this point. Not one major athletic company has gotten behind her to push it. Like, come on now. Like, you have to be kidding. There's something behind that. And like you said, you hate to bring it out, the race card. You hate to, but it's obvious. It's obvious. And so, we'll see. I mean, hopefully, I like to believe that, during time, things change. And with the rise of women's boxing, hopefully now these sponsors, major sponsors, will get into the sport and start getting behind these female athletes because they're talented. They're very talented, man, just as talented as the men. And so, like I said, shout outs to Jake Paul because he sees a niche there and he's jumping into it. So,
I
it's
mean,
a thing. It's a thing, man. But what we got?
Yeah, I said that all the time. You can say what you want about Jake Paul and company. Them guys, they're entertainers and they're very good at finding what's entertaining to people, and they're very good at it. And I think women's sports. I'm very into UFC and MMA when the women's fight, and I'm be very into women's boxers when they're fighting because it's entertaining. It's a sport. If you're an athlete, the women love watching the men. The men love watching the women. We love to watch competitors. We love it as athletes. The people that make it ugly are the spectators, the fans, the guys who really don't, the guys or girls who really aren't into it, and they make that part ugly. But as athletes, we love this. We love the competing. We love the shit talking. We love all that stuff. And that's it at the face value. And then, like you said, the media turns into this ugly world that's not. Well, we talk shit about each other all day. And then we see each other up, giving each other a hug, hugging their kids, playing with their kids, but we're just competitors. That's just what it was at the moment. We don't carry that with us and just hate somebody all in our heart like that. It's just what it is in sport. Yeah, that's what I got on that. So, we talking about Shields and stuff, and they talking about promoting fights and the women trying to promote themselves fight. Cyborg, she was one of the greatest of all time back in her prime, challenging Claressa to a fight, and I actually found they actually sparred. Suli, we can check that out too. But let's check this out. Wow. This where we're I found it. It's a quick session. And we'll check out where Cyborg challenges Claressa Shields. So I want to check this out.
Let's get a picture of these two together.
I don't know. You want to call me out?
Friends.
I say, why is she calling me out?
Friends.
I just started boxing.
Stop.
No, it's true.
Friends.
Yeah.
If they told me that they have money and started for us to box, you already do boxing.
Yes, but we have to figure out the weight.
Yeah, so what was the problem with figuring out the weight?
Oh, okay. If we make it like 147, we can fight.
Well, I'm a little, as you can see.
Yeah, but you fight 155. 54.
So why you don't want to fight 55? Why you want to move on to 47?
Because I don't have any experience boxing. So you have experience advantage. I make it on 47, you can fight.
You have experience with boxing. Why would you say that?
No. You have more than a lot of 100 fights. I don't have 100 fights.
I haven't heard of fights.
We can figure out, do you have experience boxing? We make it away together and make it fight.
Well,
Just a scheduled fight.
Well, I'm not going to 47.
But you can make 47 if a real guy.
And you can make 55.
Yeah, but you have a lot of fights, so we can make a deal.
What's the difference between 8 pounds? Why
Well, porque white and loose. Little less, get on straight heights, and you can make weight.
you get on straight out, you can gain weight. You see what I'm saying? Same thing.
Yeah, I fight 145, so I fight 45, I go up 2 pounds for you.
2 pounds? 2 pounds?
Yeah, because I fight 145, so I have 2 pounds on 47.
You're not going to see me on 47, Mud. But it's the opportunity every
If you
time.
have the money there, you can make it. It's a night, 10 weeks night, you can make the weight for sure.
You can make the weight when you come in.
And that's pretty much how those conversations go. I mean, reality, that's literally how they go. We were just talking about making weight just earlier. You heard them two talking about weight and the pay. Your thoughts on that? I know you got a lot of insight on that kind of conversation that just transpired.
Yeah, we had this conversation before, of course, and I mean, and as we said before, as the saying goes, they make weight classes There's a reason why they make weight classes, you know. But you have two fighters with the background that with the background that Claressa Shields has, of course. The Cyborg, she's mostly MMA. It will be a great fight, man, if they could somehow get that going, man. I mean, even if it's not even, even if they make it a celebrity match where, the weight classes only really come in and somehow get them together, man, it would be a great fight for the sport, for women boxing, just to have the eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? Wow, that's them sparring, huh?
Yeah.
And so it would be great, man, if that could happen, but you have to have the promoters. You have to have somebody with the financial backing to make an event like this. And I'm just surprised that no one has jumped on it. You know, come on. I mean, you got the biggest names, two of the biggest names in the sport of, you know, uh, I wouldn't say boxing, but in the sport of fighting. You know, why not make that fight? It would be great.
I mean, look at the
They
sparring
yeah,
match.
they
It'd be a
sparring
it'd be
there.
a
I mean,
slugfest.
yeah, it would be. It
Slugfest.
would be. And you could make two fights out of that one right there. Come on, man. You do it one time, and then of course it's going to be action packed. I mean, you got them two women. Come on, they competitors, and so you could get a second fight out of it. You know what I mean? So hopefully the sport just keeps growing, and you get these sponsors behind them, and this women's boxing, can just take off, man, because there's definitely talent in women's boxing. Definitely talent. And
No doubt.
who doesn't like to see a good fight? Come on, man.
And
Who
I, and
doesn't
I
like to
think
see a good fight? Even the
and I
average person who
absolutely. And I
doesn't
think
like sports.
right. And I think you said it right with the I don't think you put any belt. In that fight. Cyborg said it best. Cyborg wants to compete, but she wants to get paid. And Clarissa's still
Right.
at this point in her career. She's still fighting for respect. I'm sure she's got a couple big fights left in her before she wants to hang it up, I guess. And then she's 30 years old now. You don't want to ruin anything, but I think when Clarissa's done, I think that fight will probably happen. And it'll be it'll be an exposition match where there's nothing on the line. Them two will just go at it. Because if I'm Claressa in this, I have to, like I said, I know as a fan, and we all get so stuck up in it. It's like, who wants to see that? Who doesn't want to see that? But I gotta think in her perspective. You still trying to get paid. She's still trying to make the most money she can with the time she has left. I said, there's no advantage for her fighting Cyborg unless somebody offers a ridiculous amount of money to fight that fight. And I don't think any belts or anything will be involved in that. I think it'd be just an open exposition match, et cetera. And that's what it would be because Cyborg has no experience in boxing. So all the advantage would be for Cyborg. But Cyborg's just a competitor. She wants to fight her. I get it. But Claressa has a lot to lose. But we'll see if it ever happens or not,
And hey, man, I'm sure if somebody come along and offer these two women a couple million, it's gonna be hard to turn that down.
Oh, yeah.
Make it an exhibition. Make it an exhibition fight. And I think at this time it's possible. I mean, even if you don't grab Cyborg, you got Amanda Steele out there. If they could come up with the weights and everything, and it's a shame because Claressa Shields is top, and you want her to make these fights. You want to put her in a ring with someone with competition that she's going to fight. You know what I mean? So that's going to make it a good fight. And unfortunately, right now in her division, in her weight class, you don't really have that big name that's going to kind of push a fight. So, you got to look underneath her, weight wise underneath her. And, with the Amanda and the Cyborg, definitely. Cyborg has a name. You could make that fight happen. Somebody, come on now. Like somebody can put some money up and make that fight. And it'll get eyes on it. It don't have to be and it doesn't have to be a headliner. Put it on an
No,
undercard or something, or another big fight.
that part. So put it somewhere on there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Speaking of big fights, one of the simulations I talked about would be Serrano versus Shields. I don't think Serrano would have much of a chance against Shields, but and everybody has a puncher's chance. You never know. And then it's the weight. The weight would be the issue. I don't think Shields be able to go down and fight. Amanda would have to go up. I think it'd be kind of hard for Shields to go down. I mean, that's a thick girl. That's a lot. That's going to be a lot of weight. It'd be pretty strenuous on her body to drop down to Serrano's weight, but it'd be a fun fight to watch. I don't think Shields has ever fought Katie. I mean, there's tons of fights out there that could happen, but will they happen or not? I just don't ever. I don't think they would happen. It's just a shame that we'll never get to see it. I mean, is that a fight you would be interested in seeing? Of course, you got the Serrano Katie rematch again. What scenario would you like to see in all that?
I'm excited for that Katie Serrano fight. This is the trilogy. I'm excited to see this one. I mean, each fight has been, action packed.
Oh God, yeah.
Soon the bell ring to the end. So, of course we'll get to see that one. Another one. I mean, Alicia Baumgartner. I would like to see her somehow get in that mix. But again, we're talking about weight wise. How can they make it happen weight wise? But I would like to see her get up in the mix. And I know it. Alicia Baumgartner and Claressa Shields, they, social media, they had their little spat going back and forth. And it's been the same issue. How can they make this fight happen with the weight? So with the rise of female boxing, it's going to be good because now you're going to have a bigger pool with more fighters. And so you'll have more of a competition in a particular weight class, unlike now when you have the best who's up there, damn near heavyweight. And most of the women, competition wise, and most of the women skill wise is lower weights. So you got a bigger pool that's coming up, and hopefully we get to see these fights, man. It's a good time for women boxing right now.
It's always your line. It's a great time for women boxing. Man, it's a great time. Man, it's a great time for boxing. Period. It's coming back. Like I said, you talked to Joe and all these other fighters. I said, there used to be a time, like I said, you would all go to each other's house and want to watch the fights. So everybody came over. Who's got the pay-per-view? Who's watching the fights? And that's kind of what everybody did. It was more like, I think, like an up north thing, but that used to be the thing. Who would go fights, or what bar or what sports bars got the fights on, and that's what everybody would do when those fights come on, regardless of whatever time it was. Put the kids to bed, and all the adults would sit up there, drink, talk shit, and watch the fights. But we're kind of getting back to that era, in this era, and hopefully it's the women's will get some of that love too.
I think it will. I think it will. Man. It's too much competition in that women's boxing right now. It's a lot of women boxers right now, man. It's a lot of competition. They just need the platform. They need the platform. So, like they're doing it now. They mixing. You have a male card, and they'll throw in a female. A match on a male card. They just gotta do it. They just gotta find these matchups, man. And they need personalities. You know what I'm saying? You need these fighters to be good, but also you have to have the personality, like we talked about, just talking, going on social media, calling out one another, promoting yourself, promoting yourself and to get these, to get a pushing, a fan base behind you. And now we got fights. So it's exciting. It's exciting time for boxing in general. But then women's boxing is moving right along with it. So it's following that wave. So it's good. It's exciting, man. Like I said, looking forward to that Amanda uh,
Taylor.
rematch. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing Claressa Shields her next fight. So good time, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
No doubt. That's it. And we'll get out of here. We'll go talk women's boxing a little bit on Mother's Day Sunday. Talk about that a little bit. Give y'all something to think about, talk about. As always, Suli and myself are always here to, bring you some boxing news, some stuff we want to talk about, thoughts and stuff that we have, insights, because Suli's around these guys a lot down there in the tri-state area, since to see all these boxers and hear stories. So it's always fun to get together and talk. Yeah, and your final thoughts before we get out of here?
Hey man, I just want to, thank you, man, coming on board and helping push this thing. And I'm excited. We got some good things, looking on the horizon coming up. And we just ask y'all to stay tuned, man, because we got a lot of exciting things that's coming. So I'm
Yeah.
like I said, it's a beautiful time for boxing, man. I'm with it.
Yeah, and I agree. I ain't got much. I'll just piggyback off what he said. We got it. Yeah, we're always talking back and forth in the day. We'll send each other's stuff from people talking shit to each other and stuff. We send each other stuff all the time and think about what we talk about. Then we'll talk on the phone for 30 minutes about it and stuff like that. And then we jump on here and just talk about it. So yeah, it's been kind of fun. But yeah, I'm happy to jump on. I said I would, in the off season. I'll try to keep it going. But we got a lot of stuff going on. It's just setting it all up and things like getting all that in motion. And we try to bring you guys as much content. I know we're not the biggest guys in the industry yet. We ain't on Fight World Nation or nothing like that. But we just trying to do our thing. That's all. And we'll pretty much just wrap that up.
That's
the
it.
old saying.
Talking boxing.
Talking boxing. That's it. And we'll see you guys next time. And we'll end it. It ain't always hard as you hit. It's as hard as you can get hit. And we'll let James Tony take us home as he always does. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yo, this is James Lights Out Tony, the one and only. You are tuning into Philly Fight World. You see me? Bam!